Hey guys, it's Andy from Magoo Investing. I ended up getting a new light. The one that I bought a couple months ago just wasn't powerful enough, and if I was standing back a little bit, you guys couldn't see me at all. So hopefully this will be better. It takes up pretty much my entire room, but I think it's kind of worth it. Do I think that the stock market's about to crash? No, probably not, but it could. And today I'm going to be talking about the 3 reasons why I'm a little more cautious about the stock market going forward and why I think you should be as well. So if we're going to be talking about the state of the stock market, we have to bring up the fact that we are currently in a bull market. And so this has been going on since the Great Recession of 2008. And with the chart that I'm about to put up, this is the longest and the highest percentage gain of any bull market in the history of the United States. And so when I put up the charts of how the stock market's been doing over that time, if you've seen my video on when I'd be selling, this is a time that I'd be like, ooh, things have been moving too high, too fast. This is a time where I would get out. And so all these good things have to come to an end eventually. And when it's the longest in history, I'm kind of worried that it's got to happen sooner rather than later. So normally for a crash to happen, you have to have some huge news event. And so in the case of the 2008 recession, one of the big ones was Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. And the day after that happened, the stock market fell 4.5%, which is the biggest loss in a single day since 9/11. And while we haven't had that big news story yet, there's kind of been a lot of little news stories happening that made me a little bit worried. Kind of feels like the ice is cracking a little bit. Are we going to fall through? Is the stock market going to collapse? I don't think so, but I think we're headed for a downturn coming pretty soon. Okay, so the first thing that happened last week that had the stock market start to fall was on Wednesday. The Federal Reserve came out and said that they're lowering interest rates for the first time since 2008. And so for those people that have been paying attention, 2008 was a Great Recession. And so anytime that you're connecting something that's happening now to something happening in the recession, people are going to get a little worried. And so I was at work, I saw the stock market fell, and I looked and I Googled Federal Reserve, and the first thing that popped up was, are we headed towards another recession? I was like, whoa, if I was not going to be doing my research, and that was the first thing I saw, that would kind of make me a little bit panicked. So this news plus the interview after with Chairman Powell talking about that the market or the economy seems to be slowing down based off of world tensions and the slowdown of global trade. And so when the Federal Reserve feels like they need to come in and try to stop a recession from happening before it starts, it kind of makes me a little bit worried. And so when this news came out and with the press conference following, the stock market fell pretty heavily. It was around 1.5% on the day, and then that has continued through the rest of the week with the second news story that I'm going to be talking about today, was Trump tweeting about the China tariffs. And so with these tariffs, just a couple days ago on Thursday, Trump tweeted that he was going to be putting additional tariffs on Chinese goods. And from what I've been researching and from everything that I've heard, nothing good happens with the trade war. In the past couple months, the stock market's been doing really well because those tensions from the trade war have kind of slowed down. If you remember from last winter and fall, part of the reason that the stock market fell heavily was the trade war started amping up and became more aggressive. And so that went up until around New Year's, and then things kind of pulled back for a little bit, and we had some economic growth, and things were good. And now it seems like the trade war is starting up again, which is never a good sign. So with this trade war, when you're having the 2 largest economies kind of battling it out, the whole world market is going to be hurt from it. And so as a result, trade wars come out, stock market falls because companies aren't able to do as well because they have these tariffs for pretty much everything. Anything that's made in the world usually comes with Chinese goods. We're the biggest, or US and China are the 2 largest economies, and the world hurts overall. And the third reason for why I'm worried has to do with what season it is. And so when I first got into investing, which was the end or last spring, one of the first things that my dad told me was be careful about the summer starting in August through the end of the year. And so I did some more research on that to see if that was just my dad seeing what's happened in the market before, or it's been something that other people have been talking about. And from what I saw, he seems to be pretty right. If you remember just last summer, at the end of the summer, around June and August, the market fell pretty bad. And so doing some more research, I found this interesting chart that I'll throw up right now that compares the annual or the average return on the stock market based on the seasons. And so you can see that it has, since the 1600s, which is information that's, we don't really need that. But just in the past 50 years, there's been a 7% difference between the winter and the summer, with the winter being really good and the summer being pretty much flat and some years it being down pretty bad. Just like at the same time around last year, we had a market pullback and a correction, I think that could be coming this year as well. So overall, these three reasons are why I'm a little bit cautious about the stock market. Do I think, or do I know if the stock market's going to fall further? No, but I'm not confident enough to keep my money in a position where I'd be hurt if things fell fast. And so I'm going to make a video in the next week talking about my portfolio and why I've changed things in the past week even, and kind of give you a way and explain how you can make money when the stock market's falling, or at least just protect yourself and not just ride the thing to the bottom if the market ends up falling. We've had the longest bull market in history, and eventually it's going to have to come to an end. Do I know if it's going to happen right now? No. But if it does, I want to be able to protect myself and hopefully protect you guys with this information, and so you don't have to ride everything to the bottom and then start fresh. After a bear market is the time where the real money's made because everything's super cheap, and the recovery after a bear market is usually great. And so I'm hoping that it's going to be coming soon. It's going to be a rough couple years if that happens, but the years after that will be great. So let me know in the comments down below how you feel about the state of the stock market. Do you think it's going to fall? Do you think I'm just kind of being a pessimist and things are going to be fine? Let me know in the comments down below. If you learned something from this video, or at least you found it interesting, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. It helps my channel out a lot, and I will see you guys in the next video.